in the past happy era of football that we're in now, man. It feels like you just can't throw the football too much. But maybe Florida Atlantic did throw the ball too much last year. The Owls threw it on 63, almost 64% of their plays last year, number two in the country behind Maryland, a team we're going to get to shortly on these podcasts. And they couldn't run it at all. Didn't even try to run it that much. But part of that, game script plays a role, obviously, as you get behind. They were 4-8 last year. But it's going to be interesting. With the quarterback back, can the Owls be more balanced in 2026? You are listening to the You Think You Know Sports podcast. We're talking to Florida Atlantic today as we continue to dive into all of these teams in the American and we make our way all the way through college football and look at 2026. This podcast is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, all of the places out there. So we appreciate you finding us. Hope you'll find us on TikTok and other social media. You Think You Know Sports is the place to look up. YouThinkYouKnowSports.com is our website where we'll have a lot more on the Owls. So quarterback Caden Veltkamp is back for this Owls team. And I feel like a lot of the optimism for Florida Atlantic is going to be surrounding him. But before we get there, let's talk about kind of where this program is. So they were 4-8 last year, 3-5 in the American. They have not had a winning season since 2019. The last time they had a winning season, the head coach was Lane Kiffin. And I know a lot of people remember, his, 3-year stop down in South Florida to coach the Owls as he kind of rebuilt his resume as a college football head coach. But they won 26 games from 2017 to 2019 when Kiffin was at the helm. Since then, they've won 26 games. So the exact same number basically in the 5 years that have followed. Zach Kitley is now in his second year as the head coach. And this is a team that averaged 27 points per game, number 61 in the country last year, 435 yards per game, number 22 in the country, tons of yards. But again, they did not run the football well, only ran it 3.3 yards per rush, number 121. They led the nation in passing yards a game, 338, and in pass attempts per game. But they were dead last in turnover margin. And they averaged 7 penalties a game, which is 103rd worst in the country. They only forced 8 turnovers all season as well, which when you're turning the ball over on offense and you don't turn over the other team, that's usually a bad combination for your football program. But Veltkamp is back. He completed 67% of his passes, 24 touchdowns, 17 picks last season. 7 times in 12 games, he attempted 40 or more passes. Listen, that is a ton of attempts. I think it was 515 over the course of the season. They only played a one Power 4 opponent last year. It was the very first game of the year against Maryland. He had 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Okay. Now, one of my favorite stats, one of my favorite deep dive analytical stats for a quarterback is how often they throw the ball deep. He threw 64 last year, according to Pro Football Focus, which put him, I think, just outside the nation's top 10 as far as returning quarterbacks. So we'll see if they throw the ball down the field a little bit more this year. But obviously, if Veltkamp can continue to throw it at that level, decrease the turnovers, this is going to be a prolific offense. You can see the writing on the wall for Florida Atlantic to be hard to stop in the American, especially if they can figure out how to be more balanced. They bring back Easton Messer, who caught 104 passes last year. He had 1,052 yards, 6 touchdowns. Messer was number 3 in the entire nation in receptions. And I'll tell you, Malachi Tony was number 1 for Miami. We've already broken down the Hurricanes on this podcast. He played a lot more games than Easton Messer did last year. Now, you could say the opponent level's different and all that. I'm just saying he had a whole college football playoff that had numbers where Messer did not. Dominique Henry is also back. He had 40 catches last year. We will see about the running game. Caden Shields Dutton had 83 carries, 460 yards, 6 touchdowns last season. And we will see if he gets to have a bigger, part of the offense this year, as hopefully, for Florida Atlantic's sake, they can get a little bit more balance. Defensively, they bring back 6 players, including Leon Hart, who led them in tackles, and they bring back CJ Doggett Jr., who led them in sacks. 57% of their snaps returned on defense. They're number 23 overall in snap percentage returning. 52% of their snaps from last season are back. So this is a team that has got some pieces. They've got some pieces coming back. And when you have your quarterback back, you have your star receiver back, you have a coach entering year 2. Usually year 2, you get that jump, right, from your head coach, from building what they want. They can see their footprint building on the program one more time around. With so many guys back on each side of the ball, you can kind of see where Florida Atlantic really could build something here. But they do have to get rid of the penalties, and they have to get better with the turnovers. They open at Florida, okay, which is interesting. Anybody who knows me and listens to me on TikTok during my daily show or listens to these podcasts knows I'm a Gators fan. And look, I don't want to open if I'm a Florida fan, and I am in this instance, and I use that phrase very often. I don't want to open with the team that threw more than anybody else last year with a new head coach and John Summerall. So we'll see how they match up against the Gators. But I do think that's a great test for this Florida Atlantic team early. Navy after that is another big one. We'll see what the midshipmen have. I am almost to the point of breaking them down. They're one of the next podcasts that will come out in the next 5 or 6. Then they go to Louisiana Monroe. They play Texas Southern back at home. They go to Army. We've already broken down the midshipmen. They bring back so much. Rice at North Texas. UTSA, at least you don't get UTSA in Texas, where they seem to never lose. At Tulsa, November 14th. Then they finish things up with a home game against South Florida, and then a game at East Carolina, who's breaking in a new quarterback. Both South Florida and East Carolina are breaking in new quarterbacks after having quarterbacks who were among the best in the American last couple years. So, look, I think there's some things to like here. I really do. I think the Owls could be a team that gets into bowl consideration or more if they can get rid of the penalties, if Veltkamp can continue to play at such a prolific level, but get rid of those turnovers in the passing game. And they've got to figure out the run game. We'll see if they can do that this year with year 2 under Kitley. Guys, I appreciate you listening to the You Think You Know Sports podcast. We'll be back with our next episode on the American on Memphis, which is going to look a lot different this year. I appreciate you listening, and I'll see you on the next one.